Shanti Shanti. So as we approach, that is true in any subject, as we approach, a more and more comprehensive grasp has to be there. And this comprehensiveness will not come unless we leave our clinging to small, small gross appearances, which we are clinging to always. Even to know the good qualities of a person whom I dislike, you have to get rid of the dislike we have. See, the moment I dislike a person, I will not be able to see the good qualities in the person. Even if somebody else says, no, no, you are saying like that, but he did like, she did like this, she is like this, we will say like that. Somebody else is saying this person has got this good quality, and maybe it is true. But because of my dislike, I am clinging to my dislike, so I am not able to appreciate the good qualities of the person. Everybody has some good and some bad. But because of our own clinging to something in that person, we are not able to appreciate. So to go to any abstraction, we have to get rid of the clinging, that smallness, that small differential clinging. We call it fragmentation. That is, always we are fragmenting the world and picking on to this I like, this I dislike, like that. So the idea of studying and ruminating and delving into the truth of the soul or Brahman is not to know that what is Brahman and what is soul and what is written in the Vedas, what is written in the Upanishads. It's not that. By constantly to grasp the truth of it, by constantly ruminating on it, our mind will have to get rid of its clinging. That is what I said yesterday, Vairagya. By thinking about the soul, we will become more and more like the soul. This is the Vairagya. The becoming soul means soul has become everything, soul has become Sukha, soul has become Dukkha. So will we prefer Sukha and detest Dukkha? That also will go. When we become more and more like soul, we will be able to embrace both Sukha, Dukkha, good, bad, everything with the evenness. Because we no more cling to that fragmented appearance of the things. Is it understandable? So the purpose of studying the Shastras is not to know that what is the soul, what is the Brahman, but to constantly interact with the concept of the soul, concept of the Brahman, so that our mind and intelligence undergo a change, a complete transformation, a complete integration, a complete expansion. It is the introducing that transformation that makes us, that is the purpose of the Shastras or reading the scriptures. So I go that much to say that suppose soul had not existed, in this case soul happens to be an experiential truth, but suppose it is not there at all, we don't bother about it, we don't mind it. Because suppose you are given a concept of a soul which is all pervading, on which the whole universe is appearing to be, which is unaffected by Sukha, Dukkha, anything, no agitation touches it, it is always remaining unaffected, untouched, not colored by anything. If such a concept is given and we constantly think of that concept, by this interaction with the concept will not our mind gain those properties which the soul concept has. Whatever we interact with, our mind gains that. You remain with an agitated person for a day, you will find that you are also becoming agitated. You remain with a peaceful person for a day, you will find that you are becoming peaceful. Whatever you are interacting with, you read horror books, you will get frightened by the ghosts and other things. You read good books where loving thoughts are there, where universal thoughts are there, you will find that your mind is becoming loving, uniform, expanded like that. Is it not experience of everybody? That whatever we are interacting with, those qualities we are gaining through the interaction. So if we interact with the concept of a soul which is universal, which is unaffected by anything, which is unmovable, undecaying, unchanging, then more and more we think about it, our mind also will become like that. So whether soul exists or not, it does not matter, our mind will become like the soul, and that is what we want in spirituality. The mind will become the soul. That is why in the Shastras it is called a pure mind is the soul. There is nothing else. So, all these Rig Veda, Yajurveda and all the whatever he said, they are actually processing our mind and intelligence through disciplines, various kinds of interactions and disciplines, so that the mind becomes integrated, uniform, expanded, freed of its fragmenting attitude, selfishness, everything. That is the purpose, so that the mind comes closer and closer to the soul. That is the purpose of undergoing these disciplines. See, he says that other than the four, that is Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharva Veda, Shiksha. Shiksha means the phonetics, the science of phonetics, or I would like to call it the discipline of phonetics or Ucharana, pronunciation. See, Sanskrit is a language where if you know the letters, you will be able to read anywhere. It's not like English, that beauty put and beauty but. It's not like that. As the letters are, so is the sound. If it is long vowel, it will be long everywhere. If it is short, it will be short everywhere. If it is not that, there is a rule where it will not be. Everything is mentioned. It's all in the grammar. So the phonetics, the science of the discipline of Ucharana. Why are we not able to chant the shlokas properly, you think? Because we are not disciplined. That is why we were given right from the beginning, from childhood, we are asked to chant the Surya mantra and all those things are given. Various chantings were there in our country right from beginning. So that right from childhood, our tongue, our intelligence, our attention, they get integrated. In chanting properly, so much of attention is necessary that all other thoughts will go out of our mind. We have to listen to the sound coming. First of all, we have to know what is the sound, we have to learn. Then listen to the sound coming out of our mouth. And if it is not right, we have to incorporate the change and the correction. For that, the brain has to direct the tongue. We will find that even if I am able to hear that the sound is not proper, I am not able to produce the proper sound. In music also it happens. You bring out your sound, it is not on the Shruti, it is going off tune. You try. If you have the ear and if you have the attention and if you have the voice, then you will be able to finally make. If you don't have, then you have to undergo very strict discipline of practicing and disturbing all other neighbors and also with the out of tune voice. So undergoing all these disciplines is what? It is integrating our intelligence, our motor action, our attention, everything is getting integrated. So by that, attention is growing. We are missing the truth only because of attention. Now Shiksha is the discipline of phonetics or the pronunciation. So from childhood this Shiksha used to be taught, this lesson on pronunciation used to be taught right from the beginning. So that one has to be very sit straight. Unless you sit straight Vishnu Sahasranama, you will not be able to chant properly. There are visargas, there are yuktaksharas, that is combined letters. There are visargas, there are some other letters which need lot of force, lot of aspiration. Some wind has to be thrown out. So if you don't sit with the spine straight, you will find that the pronunciation doesn't come. You will simple take the first thing of Vishnu Sahasranama, forget about other chanting. You will find that you will not be able to bring out the proper Ucharana unless you sit straight, your mind is concentrated, your mind is focused and your attention is fully on what you are chanting. Not only that, unless you know the meaning, the words will not come properly, proper pronunciation will not come because there are joint words. It will become reverse sometime. Amritu will become Mritu, Mritu will become Amritu. Just opposite meaning will come. So you have to remember what is that word and try to bring it out. Not only that, you will find even after that also the chanting will not become powerful unless you know the greater meaning or the philosophy behind the word. Suppose there is a word called Mahakarta. If you say Mahakarta, will it mean, when we say something great, a great doer, a great noble person, we say a great noble person. Do we say like that? then the greatness will not have its power in it. So when you are saying Maha, that Maha should come with Maha, not Maha. But that is what happens. We are saying Mahakarta, Mahakarta, Mahabhokta. No. It has to be Mahakarta, Mahabhokta, like that. So unless we give full attention to the deeper meaning also, the Ucharana will not be proper. See, just in pronunciation so much of attention, so much of discipline is there. Our country has rejected all these practices, and that is why the country is suffering. Even in some minimum work also we don't find any devotion, any attention. Be it a household work or an office work, everywhere the complaint is the same, that you don't find any dedication, you don't find any devotion to the work. It is because we have not been trained with the devotion, we have not been disciplined right from the beginning. Even in music and all, their art, everywhere we are finding now, musicians say that those days are gone. We don't get a disciple who will be given to the fundamental disciplines, the music in its essence. They only want some ornamental things and go away and perform in the stage. That is their interest, and become a performer, not to really go into the music. Everywhere this degeneration, it is because we have not undergone the discipline. So, one discipline is the shiksha, or the pronunciation, the science and the discipline of pronunciation. Then kalpaha. Kalpaha we always neglect. It is the science of rituals, achara, rituals, various performances we do, puja, worship, even eating food. Everywhere this science of rituals was there. Now these rituals, in Malaysia we had lot of discussion, people had lot of inquiry about it. We found that after taking initiation from Swamiji, many of them have completely stopped all rituals. So they don't do the practice which is to be given, which has been given by Swamiji, that is the practice of the japa or meditation or whatever, and reading the shastras. They have got the mantra, but they don't practice. They all say we are doing interactional sadhana, because interactional sadhana does not have any measuring way. Whether you are doing only interaction or interactional sadhana, nobody can understand. We can understand, but nobody is going to tell you anything. And at the same time, they have removed all the rituals. They don't have a puja room, they don't have any worshipping area, they don't light the lamp. One person said that I have the lamp, but I have stopped lighting the lamp. Then what do you do? No, we don't do anything. Then what about your children? What will they learn from you? Because your interactional sadhana, children will not understand, so the children will grow. Yes, they have gone very unruly, they only understand. They say that you speak to me rationally, then I will understand. I will do whatever I think to be right. They are telling their parents. That's fine, they are intelligent, they will say. But you should have the capability to always answer them through the reason. That why am I lighting the lamp 15 minutes a day? Why am I spending in the puja room? Because throughout the day our mind is getting fragmented, it is always externally oriented. Even if 15 minutes I collect the mind and make it one-pointed, one focus, the mind power will increase tremendously. We should tell the children that you will, whatever you are reading, studying now, you are not able to understand because you are not able to focus the mind. So if you have a practice for half an hour or 15 minutes in the morning where you integrate your mind, focus your mind, you will find that the same study is taking half the time you are spending on it and you are not able to understand. But we have not done the discipline, so we are not able to convince our children also. If you have done and if you have understood, if you have rationalized it, we would have been able to tell them. Some people, they have even stopped doing all the antyeshti, that is rites after a person dies. And it's fine, you have taken initiation in Brahma Vidya, you need not do it, provided you have understood what it is. But they have started saying others in the family and else also, you need not do the rituals. And who gave you the permission to tell them? What is the meaning of performing the rituals? So after death we do the rituals, there is a meaning. It is not done for the ghost, it is done for ourselves. Because however good we are during the lifetime, we tend to neglect our parents, neglect our grandparents. It will be there because they have become old, they are absolutely lonely, And we have our work, we have to go for work, we don't have the time to spend with them. So they will have it, however good a family is, the old people will have some missing and some suffering from loneliness. Nowadays the scientists say that loneliness is worse than blood pressure and diabetes for the old people. Now they will suffer. What happens is that when the person dies, we start suffering ourselves that, oh, that day he wanted to take it, I did not make it. I said that next week I will make or so. He wanted to go there, I did not take him. All these thoughts will come and start bothering us. It is common everywhere. That is why this prescription is given, that your mind will be haunted by those thoughts. That is what happened to Yudhishthira. Knowing that Karna was his brother, he was burning almost in suffering. That is why he was asked to do the Ashwamedha Yaga to get rid of the suffering of his mind. So here also, by doing the rituals, after death rituals, ceremonies, etc., what happens is that constantly that period we are focusing on the person who has left. That works in our mind. So after the ceremonial 12 days or 14 days or whatever it is over, our mind becomes free to do its work without suffering from the repentation or any other such backlog it will generally suffer from. They have a meaning. If you ask somebody else also, your family, oh, Swamiji said you don't do the rituals, so you don't do the rituals. They have started instructing others. Now you will do a great sinful thing for them, they will suffer. And they have not been initiated to Brahma Vidya, that they know what is the truth and all, and they can go beyond all rituals. Even if a person go beyond rituals, if he is a Brahmajna, if he is a knower, rituals are necessary, partly for him, partly for others also. Their life cannot become absolutely erratic in discipline. In our country, even taking food is a ritual. You cannot just, when some good material is in, oh, today it is there. No. We are not supposed to eat like that. Then we will either overeat, we will eat wrong things, everything will happen. That is why before eating we have a mantra, we have something called Parishechana. Some mantra is there, some act is there, where we are completely integrating our mind. And finally we do Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi. What does it mean? It means everything is one. So whatever greed or hatred the mind is suffering from, those things will be cleared. The mind will become uniform. So you will take the right food in the right quantity. You will be attentive to the food after that. You will not eat out of greed for the taste only, but for the nourishment. Automatically you will find that our body, our mind is sensitive to the food. We actually are able to, like the animals, like the cows, we are also able to sense which food is the most nourishing to our body and mind, the full personality. We are able to know, but we have subdued those sensitivities because of our greed and preference and prejudice for adding a lot of condiments and all. So we get clinging to the condiments. Everywhere this clinging will come. We are clinging to certain tastes, certain condiments, that we miss the sensitivity of knowing which food is the right food for me and which quantity is the right quantity for me. We have the sensitivity, we have blunted it. So if we do that, the science of rituals, the discipline of rituals means before doing everything we have certain practices. Before conception, after conception, before childbirth, in several stages of the pregnancy, after the childbirth. We don't have any festival without ceremony. Utsava means which elevates us. It's not doing some jerk and shake and degenerating all our energy in disco and all. We don't have it. Any festival in our country was associated with some ceremony which will elevate our mind. Whether it is a puja or brata or whatever, it will help in disciplining our personality, integrating our personality, elevating our personality, make us free of the usual clinging we have. It was all meant for, and even everything, there will be some sacrifice involved, some dana involved, so that the mind becomes liberal, the mind becomes freed of its normal selfishness. But we have thrown off everything. The meaning of ritual is that all our utsavas were associated with some elevating rituals so that it is beneficial to our growth of our personality. So that is called the kalpaha. So if we banish kalpaha from our life, then naturally the society will become indisciplined, it will become scattered, degenerated. Vyakaranam. Vyakaranam means the grammar. Grammar means it is a discipline of expression. Suppose we don't follow the grammar, we speak in our own manner, then will the other people understand? Or often we have found those who do not know English, they are not able to say the past and present properly. In our ashram often it happens. Actually what he is meaning is something in future, but he is using the present tense or past tense, so complete wrong information is given. We have to understand that this person doesn't know grammar or they're using the wrong grammar, so we have to say, are you meaning this or this? Then it will be corrected. So without grammar, how can we communicate with people? Our expressions should follow the grammar. So grammar is a discipline of expression. Whatever we express, it has to be disciplined. So learning grammar is to discipline our expressions. Niruktam. Niruktam is the etymology, the discipline of etymology or science of etymology. It is not there in the other languages so much. It is there, but not to the extent Sanskrit has. Sanskrit, each word is originating from a basic fundamental bhava. It starts from one letter or so. That is why you will find the verbs and all, they have a root. Suppose Jagat, we say world is Jagat. Why Jagat? Why the world is called Jagat? Gacchati iti Jagat. The nature of the world is always moving. See, if it doesn't move, then it is not world. The changefulness is the very substance of the world. So if you hold on to the world or worldly anything, it means changefulness. You cannot attain any permanence there at all. Looking for permanence in the world is foolishness. That the Jagat itself, the term itself is meaning that. Gacchati iti Jagat, it is always moving. Samsara, samyak sarati iti samsara, which is always drifting. So if you hold on to your wealth, it is drifting. If you think that the wealth I will carry, as Swamiji was telling Bhoja Raja's story yesterday, that kingdom I will carry with me when I die. No. Even before death also another king may come and attack and take away your kingdom. We should remember whenever we are holding on to anything temporary, that it is temporary. And holding on to suppose you hold on to a person and think that my husband will always be there or my wife will always be there, then someday it will not. So you have to suffer then, that you will not think that I did a wrong thing, but whatever, you have to have the corresponding suffering. So samsara means samyak sarati iti samsara. This we are knowing from the etymology of the word. So in Sanskrit all the words can be etymologically derived and you can go into the root meaning, why it has been made like that. So that you get into the fundamental philosophy of our expression, of our words. Studying the etymology or niruktam, what will happen? Our all expressions will be anchored to the fundamental level. As I was speaking of anchored to the soul, everything in our culture, whether it is music, dance, festival, everything is anchored to the soul. So if you follow the traditional culture, you cannot miss the anchorage. Because everything will talk about that. Suppose in Durga Puja we have spoken about it. There is at the end of the 4 days before the Visarjana, we have called Darpana Visarjana. Water is there in a plate in which a mirror is kept and we have to see the face of the idol in that mirror. Why is it given? Because finally the idol will be immersed, and that is not the real idol we are talking about. Although 4 days we were busy with feeding the idol, offering the idol, and everything was going around the idol. But the real Devi is not there, the Devi is in our heart. And after the 4 days you have to install Devi in our heart. Seeing the Darpana, the face of the Devi, actually we are supposed to install the Devi in our heart and immerse the outer Devi. When the outer Devi is immersed, then only we get the inner Devi properly. We focus on that. That is what Krishna said when he left Vrindavana. The Gopikas were crying and they were all suffering from they were missing Krishna. He wrote back that I have come away because then only you will install me in your heart. As long as I was there, your focus was outward. Now that I have come away, you will now look to your Krishna within. So your mind will become inward. So everything in our culture is meant to take us to that fundamental anchorage, to that deep anchorage within us. So these disciplines are important because of that. Not doing that, suddenly we cannot know the Upanishads, the Upanishadic truth. Those days, because these were the studies, there were no other studies those days. But all the learnings, whatever was being done, they were all meant to take us to, meant to anchor us to our real identity. Then Chando Jyotishamiti, Chandaha. You will find that Sanskrit has the speciality of expressing everything in terms of meter.